You know, both Android and iOS have matured so much in the last couple of years that, both platforms are really good and you really can't go wrong with either one, and it's gonna come down to personal preference. My needs had changed in the last couple of years, and before it was all about rooting my Android phone. In fact, I have not rooted an Android phone in over a year. And to me, the Google experience, the applications that they offer like Gmail, Hangouts, YouTube, those types of apps are what's important to me. Now, this might surprise you, but those applications are actually better on the iPhone than they are on Android. Believe it or not, there are features built in that you cannot find on Android. Now, don't get mad at me, I'm not the developer, blame Google for that. Take for example the Google Keyboard app, not even available on Android, and it's actually become my favorite keyboard app that I like to use on iOS. Same thing with Gmail, I get a ton of emails and there's this little thing called unread, which allows me to look at only my unread emails, and this is something that I could already do on the desktop. You can't do that on Android. Same thing with liking a comment on YouTube. This is something that barely Android just got like a couple of weeks ago. This was available on iOS for years. But it's just not Google apps that work better. 99% of the apps that I use on Android on my iPhone just work better on iPhone. Take for example Starbucks. If I wanted to reload my card, all I have to push on is reload and use my fingerprint with Touch ID to reload my card. This is something that I can't do on Android, regardless if my Android phone has a fingerprint reader. And I don't know, I just think plain and simple, developers care more about the experience on iOS rather than on Android. But aside from having a very googly app experience, hardware is also very important, and the iPhone 7 Plus does not disappoint. Now, the camera is actually one of my favorite things about the iPhone 7 Plus, and particularly the dual camera setup, especially because it has that 56mm focal length, which I really like. I find myself taking even more pictures of just random things just because it looks really good. It kind of gives you that DSLR look, especially in portrait mode, which I've already done a video on, and I'm gonna leave it linked down below. So as you guys know, I test a lot of smartphones, and one thing I can tell you is that the iPhone 7 Plus will last me all day, and by the end of the day, I would have over 50% battery life left. And I can't say that about any other Android phone. Now keep in mind, I typically use my phones the same, so that's something that's pretty impressive. So the biggest change on the new iPhone is the removal of the headphone jack, and personally it hasn't been an issue for me. I have a small carrying pouch that I carry my headphones in, and the dongle's already attached to it, so for me it's not a big issue, so it's not really a deal breaker either. So as I said before, my needs have definitely changed on what I'm looking for in a smartphone. Like for example, home automation is still a very important part of that integration, and Apple HomeKit works very well. In fact, a lot of the things that I would do on Android, like setting up tasks or doing voice commands, all works flawlessly on the iPhone without me having to do any of that, and it's literally just plug and play. If I swipe up, I can access some of my favorite home automation devices. I can use Siri, like I said before, using voice control. I can use my smartwatch to control my home automation devices. And this is an Android watch, one of my favorites, which is a Huawei watch, which works very well on iOS. In fact, I use this to use Google Now, which is one of my favorite features on Android. Take a look. Okay, Google, what's the weather like in Los Angeles? Boom, there it goes. And see, that's the thing, whenever I'm using my iPhone, there's a lot of features, like I said, the Google applications, the experience is still there. I almost feel like you kind of get best of both worlds, and that really doesn't happen on the Android side. There's really no iOS apps that you can merge over like iMessage or anything like that on Android, but whenever I'm using my iPhone, I'm not really missing much. Even Google's Assistant and most of its features are already available for the iPhone. Take a look. Okay, Google. Who is the President of the United States?
The President of the United States of America is Barack Obama.
Okay, Google. What school did he go to?
Barack Obama attended Columbia College of Columbia University in the city of New York, Occidental College, and other colleges.
Okay, Google. Who is he married to?
Michelle Obama since 1992.
I think one of the reasons why I have been enjoying this phone so much is the fact that on the Android side, we have the Note 7, which was one of my favorite Android phones, but we know what happened there. The Nexus line is dead, which I've been very disappointed about. And the Google Pixel, well, you know, the Google Pixel, I have actually been using these last couple of days, so make sure to subscribe for my full review. But at the same time, the Google Pixel is missing a lot of features that I love about Android, like stereo speakers or front-facing speakers. It's not water resistant, and I don't want to make this about the Pixel. So reality is that the iPhone 7 Plus just has a lot of those features, and like I said earlier, it's just a mixture of between iOS and Android, and it just works very well. Another thing about the iPhone that I really like is just the amount of accessories that are available for it. If you want to put a skin on your phone like the one I have here from D-Brand, not a problem. If skins are not your cup of tea and you want to put a phone case, again, not a big deal. There's so many cases available for this phone. I mean, you'd have trouble finding the right one. And I never thought I would actually own a wallet that can charge my phone, which I think is pretty crazy. Again, so many accessories are available for the iPhone, and it's something you don't really see much on Android unless it's like a Samsung Galaxy S device. You know what I've realized is there's no such thing as a perfect smartphone. I've been here waiting so many years for that device, and it doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if you get an iPhone 7 or iPhone 7 Plus or any other Android phone. These phones have compromises, and these compromises are things that you're gonna have to live with. So at the end of the day, you have to pick what works best for you. It doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what anybody else says, because you're gonna pick that device. And here's the thing, stop fanboying. Guys, this is just a smartphone. It's not gonna change your life. So just pick what you love and enjoy. Here's the thing, you're gonna pick and choose what works for you, and I'm gonna pick and choose what works for me. These phones are all great, and it's kind of hard to go wrong. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because I have a lot of new videos coming up, including the Google Pixel. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.
Here's your chips and salsa.
Thank you so much.
Can I get you anything else?
You know what? I'll take another beer, please.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. But aside from having a better googly experience, there's three... Dirty take, dirty take.